All right. So welcome to reopening your store. I actually was Juanita who coined this, and I just love it. Ready or not, get set, and let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, this whole thing is actually a Google Doc because of how you guys know as much as I do that stuff continues to change. And so, whoops, let me just see here. That things have continued to change, and things have continued to, you know, just every day is new here, right? And that's and it is and it is what we know for sure is that as entrepreneurs is that we all are always looking for growth, but the thing that we're never crazy about is the change that always has to accompany growth. But what I want you guys to know that I'm so excited about for you all is that, you know, is congratulations are in order, because we're ready to walk to the other side. And the thing is that you've already made it through a crazy part. Like you said, change is the only constant always, but you've got to take such courage and such pride in the fact that you've mastered that skill of stopping, pivoting, and resetting. You know, and that will continue to serve you as we walk through this time period. I've always said that there's three parts to planning this whole thing. First was the part that we were in, right? And now we're in the part of getting open. And then the third phase will be once we're, you know, like kind of after we're a little bit more comfortable with it all, right? And so we'll be doing another checklist for that time period also. The thing I know for sure is that you have done things that you never dreamed you'd ever have to do. Close your store. You've done things that you didn't think you could do. All that online stuff, all the stuff you've learned, it's incredible, right? And you've done things that you never thought you'd have to do. And through all of that, you did it and walked through it. You walked through and took action, even in spite of the fear that you felt. And so you've got to be proud about that. And that's why I'm declaring that you are a courage warrior. That is what you are. You've really been a warrior getting through all this, and you faced it with courage. And we just couldn't be more proud of you. And so now the exciting thing about it now is that now we get to create what this reopening is going to look like, and what this phase is going to look like. So let's get started with what shopping in your store will look like. Listen, there's a whole chunk of this that's just going to be determined by your state. I mean, they're going to determine the uniform for you and your customers. They're going to determine if you have to wear masks or gloves or booties or not. Like, all of that's going to be determined by your state. And they're also going to they'll probably have something to say about the capacity and how it relates to like the fire code or whatever, and what social distancing requirements are. And you will be required to police it. You will. But how you do that is up to you. That's the point, right? And so we can make this sound like you, and make it a good experience for customers. Or we can make it like that sign that you always see when people talk about bad examples for signs. They talk about the one that says no shoes, no service, no like whatever, right? And that's not the kind of thing that we want to. That's not the kind of thing we want to do. I just got notification that the chat for some reason is disabled, and I sure don't know why. Let me just double check right here, see if there's something I can do.
I had to laugh, Kathy, because right after we said, "Oh, put everything in chat," I saw the disabled, and I've never seen that before.
No, me neither. And there's nothing here that says why that is. So I don't know what to tell you guys. So sorry about that. So if I could ask you to just write down your questions, and we will we'll for sure answer them all as we go through it all. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Another thing about how Zoom and everything keeps changing, right? And so the thing is that we're going to, what we have seen already with the people that have been open is that truly the huge majority of people have been doing what you've asked them to do. And you can check around to see. In fact, I'm going to include a beautiful guideline. So there's a Eloise Trading Company in North Carolina. They have a fabulous guidelines that they put out. They actually they're not opening until they're opening the next day tomorrow, and and so they posted it out on social media, and you guys, it's perfect. It's just a perfect sign that sounds just like them. It looks just like them. It's such a great example of how I want signage and such to look like for you. In this, we'll actually include a picture of it so you can see it. I'm sure that they won't mind, and because they've done a fabulous job with it. And so that's what we mean about how it's up to you. It's up to you. Will you need to rearrange some of your fixtures? Some people will, because that's what you're going to need to do to make social distancing easier. And sometimes in some stores, you're going to, depending on the size of your store, you're going to want to send them on a path. You're going to want to move your fixtures so that you're kind of keeping people on a path, and using signs to do that also. But you can make it sound fun and friendly, like if you can see my undyed roots of my hair, you might be too close. If you can see that I haven't gotten my eyelashes or my eyebrows done forever, you're way too close to me, whatever. So you can see how you can make it be fun. One other thing that's critical is to make sure that you have enough room so that someone can get around another customer who has stopped to look at an item, because we don't want to force people to hurry, but we also have to make sure that people feel comfortable and safe, right? That's what it's all about. It's about being comfortable and safe and fun and friendly. And signs are going to be more important than ever before, because you need them to help guide your raving fans about the direction that they should take. You need it to inform them on the steps you're taking to keep everything safe and clean in the store. And you also need them to help your team sell from a distance. So you want them to look pretty, and you want them to look consistent, and you want to write them out imagining that you're actually talking to a customer. Right? So you're not just going to have a sign that says, oh, new beach tops. You're going to say things like, so which of these tops will you wear to the beach? Or like I was thinking of you, Amy, tired of listening to your kids fighting? This game practically guarantees fun and laughter. That is how you would say it. That's exactly how she would say that to somebody in her store. Or how about this? Will you drink a mojito or champagne from this glass? Or imagine the memories your families will create with this backyard toy. You see what I'm saying? You want to make sure that you're talking to the customer, that you're engaging them in it, and that literally your team could just say to them, hey, isn't that a great sign? Isn't that so true? Aren't you so tired of listening to your kids fight? I know I sure as heck am, Yeah, and so we played this game and we really loved it, so that your team, because selling is going to be a little bit different. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but selling is going to be a little bit different. And I really want to make it as simple as we can for the team. And the signs are going to make it awesome. And oh my gosh, Kaiser and Bender, who I will give you access to all their information at the end, but they have this fabulous font size rule. We have been partnering with them for 8 years, speaking with them all over the country. And I've heard that it's just such a genius idea. You take what your oldest customer's age is and you divide it by 2. And that's how big the font should be on these signs. It works like a charm. It's really great. So what procedures need to be in place to make this happen and to keep updating signage? That's why this is a checklist, because I really want you to think about these things and think about what has to happen. And you're going to keep going over this as we continue to go through because things are going to continue to change for about a month or so, I think, as we get used to all this. So another key thing is for you to decide what your cash wrap should look like, because we're going to have to make sure to keep people feeling safe by setting up those line markers, like the markers that they'll know where to stand, either with X's or however you want to do it on your floor, right? And you want to make sure that they're further than 6 feet apart, because that's what will keep people feeling safe. And then the other thing you have to do is think about how, I know when I go to when we go to Home Depot or something, or the couple times I've gone to TJ Maxx or whatever, or actually Barnes and Noble also has it too, where they use fixtures and merchandise and signs that kind of keep us in line and kind of buying along the way. It's what we teach in our 6-Figure Holiday Blueprint program about how, extend that, think about extending that front counter experience out to the customer, because at the holiday season, there's often lines, right? So let's extend this out so that they have something to do while they're out there. We want to keep them in line and we want to keep them buying, and just make it like yours. And don't stress about how it's not going to be perfect. Like I think of Betsy and Melissa, like it's not going to be perfect tomorrow when you open, but you'll gradually see how this works, right? And you're going to, and you'll continue to adjust it and fine tune it, you know? I was saying before about how important it is to make sure that your people feel safe. And so I want to make sure that you're doing a big show of wiping down between each customer, you know? This will keep everybody healthy and safe, you know? And also hand sanitizers. Where are you going to put hand sanitizers? And we were just talking to a client who was saying that she bought, you know, she did buy a big piece of not plexiglass, but vinyl online, and she's going to try putting it up in front of her cash register. You can certainly try that if you want to. But we have to make sure that you're doing everything you can so that the customer feels safe. And I think that's a huge benefit that we have over big boxes or whatever, because of how, you know, do you trust someone who's being paid like minimum wage to keep everything as clean as an independent store is? You know, I don't think so. There's no way. I know I wouldn't. So I want you to think through what your return policy is. And in some states, they're actually dictating that. So I'm not even getting into it, just to see. And then how about if you carry clothing? Are garments going to go into quarantine after being tried on? We've had a couple people talk about how they're going to have some floor samples and maybe just keep stock in the back and make sure it's wiped down regularly. We know that steamers will kill the virus on fabric, and so Jiffy Steamers is a great resource. And I've also seen, you know, those kind of closet steamers, if you think that's a big issue, you know, whatever. But you just have to think about how it is you want to handle that, because that's going to be important. For maker stores, it's about what are you going to do when people are touching all their stuff. So I think of stores where people touch things all the time, like in clothing store, or like in or like with jewelry, or like with yarn, for example, you know, or fabric. You know, how are we going to help keep that all safe and clean? And the one idea that we had come up with for specifically for fabric and for yarn stores is having a little sample of whatever it is in front, so that then that's what can be steamed. And then because the person will touch that, but then they won't be touching all the rest of the fabric, right? And so you have to also set up the one other thing I want to say about the merchandise thing is also recognizing that people have been dealing with this whole time already at the grocery store, right? And so what you have to demonstrate to everyone that you are doing the best you can. So set up a sanitizing schedule for the store and for the merchandise, you know, and don't forget bathrooms and fitting rooms. They have to be on there too, depending on when they're used or whatever. How often are they cleaned? Like, to make sure that and don't hesitate to post this stuff out, because you want people to see that you are cleaning and that you're wiping things down, right? And about your experience in the store, are you going to have limited hours? Frankly, I encourage you to start out with limited hours, because this is going to be exhausting and people are kind of already used to limited hours. And I want you to kind of ease into this, because, you know, you have to stay healthy. You can't afford to get burnt out, right? Will you continue to do curbside pickup? We're going to talk about that a little bit later too. Another super, super critical thing is your front window. Recognizing that a lot of people are going to be walking by or driving by, and making sure that it's shoppable and that it's fun. You know, one thing that's been so effective is putting little signs next to things with a number on it and a price, so people can just buy online still if they want to, or message you or whatever. Like, that's all great. And then to include the messaging, like, of however you would say this. So rainbows have become a big symbol for how people are handling all this, and the hope that people are feeling now at this particular stage. And also, like, we miss you, you know, stop it and say hi, you know, like, those kind of messages are so important and go so far in really giving your store a voice. That's exactly what you're doing. So that's why it's really important. Another key thing is, how are you going to handle classes and events? For those maker stores of you who already have those, or for other people who are used to having them, how can you handle social distancing? Will you limit the number of people? Will you try staggered times? Will you do an element of it online? Like, I have one client that does this huge sparkly savings event every year in August, and I just don't think, we're just not sure about it. So we're already talking about delaying it till a little bit later. But then we also talked about, if later isn't going to work, what are we going to do? And we're just going to do it online. We're just going to try it there too. We're going to do it as a Facebook Live. So, you just have to be open to everything, as you have been. Like, you've gotten so good at stopping, pivoting, and resetting, right? And so you're going to be able to handle this. It won't be a problem. Continue to think about what events can you do on Zoom and still monetize? What classes can you do? We've seen extraordinary results from clients that have done classes online and who thought they'd never do it, right? Juanita and I, as your coaches, have been talking for a long time about the power of doing classes online. I myself took a class from a client right before Christmas. I made a little gnome online, and it was so fun. And now she's doing them regularly, right? And that's the silver lining of all this, is how it's forced everybody to change, and in a good way, right? So there's more information on this in the marketing section that we're going to go over. Okay, so now this part is so key. What we know for sure, and believe you me, there's very little we know for sure in all this, but what we do know for sure is that your customer now is different than they were 2 months ago. So you've got to sit down with your team and brainstorm, set a timer, try it for 30 minutes, talk about, what is this customer like now? What will they do anything and pay anything for as it relates to what you do? Not what you sell, but what you do and what you provide for them. What keeps them awake at night as it relates to what you do? You guys, what you provide is so important to them. You provide them community. There's so much you provide them. It's not just about what you sell them. It goes so much bigger than that. And so what can you do? And so talk about that. Talk about it with your team. Brainstorm it with your team, and do it a couple times. Because what I know for sure is that the customer in that first phase that we talked about changed from the beginning to the end of the phase. In this phase, is going to be a little shorter. But still, we have to see, and then we're going to likely do it again in another month, right? To see how else things have changed. But you've got to know who your customer is, so you can make sure that you're really talking to them, and name them. If you need any help, please reach out. This is something that we're super, super passionate about, because we've seen it work so successfully with our clients, so successfully. All righty. Speaking of communication, you can't over communicate during these times. It's really about communicating. Feeling like you may have said something, a million times already, and surely they must know, but they still don't know. For all of you out there who have kids, you know exactly what I mean. And then someone else will say it, and you're like, they'll come home and say, well, Aunt Sarah told me, and you're like, yeah, I've been saying that for years, right? So just be patient, and you have to communicate with your customers, with your team, and with your vendors. And what you want to be telling them is how it is that you're responding to this pandemic. Because I assure you, we know for sure that so many retailers aren't going to make it through this for, a million different reasons. But you're here because you're committed to making it through it, right? So talk about that. Tell your customers about that. Tell your team about that. Tell your vendors about that. You're the leader of this, right? And there's this John Maxwell quote that I just love that says that a leader is someone who knows the way, who shows the way, and who goes the way. Even though they can be scared stiff, right? But they continue to communicate it, right? So you're going to talk to them about what business in your store looks like now. This would be a great video to do. Talk to them about how you're sanitizing everything. Talk about why you're wearing gloves. Talk about wearing masks, and talk to them about how you're working to limit the spread by just being a good human. And and just leave it there. And then know in your heart of hearts that, right, there aren't any guarantees, but you will know that you have done everything you can. So communicate to everybody. And then also recognize that all of your messaging is about the future here. It's all about the future. It's about, welcome back, my dear long lost friend. Oh my gosh, I've missed you. I can't hug you quite yet. So at our church, they started doing this thing like this, to show like an air hug. I believe it's the sign language. I think it's a sign language for hugs. And so we've all started doing this. So, I can't wait to hug you in person, as you say, you can say to them as they come in. But no negative talking is allowed anywhere. None. Zip. No. Just you. In fact, you literally have to train your team on how I'm just saying that, about when you hear people talking about it, just saying, hey, you know what? We are only focusing on joy here. That's what we're talking about. We're not going to talk about crazy people in this crazy state that did this crazy thing or whatever, And also, we're not going to talk about how bad it was. We're not going to talk about how, oh my gosh, it was just so bad. My kids would not, blah, blah. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. Right? We're not going to talk about that. This is all about going forward. This is all about how, oh my gosh, it's so great that we're at this phase. Yeah, right. Who knows where it's going to be a month from now. But right now, at this moment, I'm so glad that I'm staring you in the eyes and that you're in my store. I'm so glad about that right now. That's what I'm so happy about, right? So that's really critical. So make sure that when you do that, make sure that you actually role play that with your team. Like role play with them what it would look like if these two people start getting into politics, start whatever it is, right? Talk to them about how they're going to handle that so that they know. Give them the tools they need to be successful, right? Because they're feeling a little anxious about all this too. And that's what you can do as a leader. Alrighty. The other communication thing is that it's not about store-wide discounts. Oh my goodness. It's not about store-wide discounts. Every single client that we talk to is like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of looking at this merchandise and I've got stuff from the fall that I know I should get rid of. I know. I get it. But remember, you are not your customer, and that your customer hasn't been looking at all this merchandise. And we're not going to do a 50% off store sale now. Actually, we'll never, at Retail Mavens, we don't ever do that. We have a whole theory. Not a theory. It is a proven strategy, decades old proven strategy. Thousands and thousands of stores have done it, about how to have a killer clearance sale. We will be having a killer clearance sale, but just not yet. We're going to push it forward because right now it's all, people haven't seen the merchandise in your store. They're going to be so excited to see it. I don't want you marking any of that stuff down. They're going to be so excited to see it. And it's going to be much more about buy now, wear now. People haven't bought anything for spring. They haven't. They've hardly bought anything. So they're going to be so excited to be able to do that. So we're pushing that all forward, The only thing is a few targeted promotions. So what that I mean is for example, it's supposed to be 30 degrees here this weekend in Chicago. And so the client that I was talking to in Chicago today, she's a women's clothing store, and she has some older sweaters from December that she ordinarily would have marked down like in March, right? But the store wasn't open. And so I said, you could take some of those or take a couple sweaters and do like a sweater promotion, about how, but then again, making it fun. Not desperate, fun. Like something like, hey, so, everyone needs a new sweater. You must be so sick of wearing your old sweaters. And let's not kid ourselves. It's Chicago. It's going to be cold again, probably in June. You'll get to wear it again, really soon, right? So those kind of targeted promotions you can do, jewelry I know has been a hard thing to sell. And so you could do something just targeted around jewelry if you wanted to, but no store-wide discounts. It's not about that. Because you've got to remember that your raving fans are so darn happy to be with you and to see you. Okay, so let's talk about this really quick. So you are open, hooray. Will you have a party? Of course, but not right away. Start with a soft opening, because you're going to find things you're going to want to change or pivot on or procedures that you're going to want to, tweak a little bit, So first we're going to have just a soft opening, and then we'll have your grand reopening. And let me tell you guys that there is magic in those words, grand reopening. There is magic in those words, because what I understand you have competitors around you, but what I know for sure is that nobody's going to do it like you do. Nobody's going to do it like you do it. So calling things a grand reopening is really significant. Like, it's been proven. You know how I'm a dork about all the science of consumer behavior and consumer psychology. And what they say all the time is that there's 3 times that a store gets the most traffic that it ever gets. When they have their grand opening is the first. When they have their going out of business sale is the second. And then when they do a grand reopening is the third. So let's call it that. Let's call it that, right? And right, we'll do a big thing. Who knows what it's going to be like, right? Will you do prizes? I have something I'm going to talk about vendors in a little while. Who knows? But you can start thinking and dreaming about it, right? So plan that for like a month from now or so, maybe 2 months. We'll see. You know, the other hand too, you could always wait until fall. Like, if you are a store who does a big business, specifically like in September, wait and have your grand reopening in fall. It's totally fine. Totally fine. People don't know. People won't know. And it's a great excuse for a party, right? Alrighty, now let's dig into marketing. Again, don't hesitate to write your questions down, because I want to make sure that we have them, and we'll go over them at the end. So marketing. So this is the fact that there is so much noise out there. There's so much noise out there. So much noise. When I say noise, there's so many more emails, right? People are emailing more often. There's so many more ads on all the social media platforms. There's so, like, well, yeah, right. So please know that we work in the trenches with retailers every single day. So we know what you're feeling. We know what you're experiencing. And plus, I also know the science of all this, of all this online marketing. And the fact is, what I know for sure is that email is still the most effective sales conversion tool. It still is. So there's more competition, right? But you've got to make sure that you're keeping up with it, and so that your raving fans can still hear and see you among the noise, because they want to. So you should be emailing them 2, maybe even 3 times a week with a gift. You know how we teach this all the time, with genuine information for them. And make it have a call to action. Include a bunch of pictures. And mix it up. Like, you can have a picture that shows a whole bunch of different things. Like, I'm thinking of a picture I saw of a whole bunch of hilarious, adorable dog photos, right? Dog pillows. It was so cute, you know. So for sure do that. But then also do something where there's only a couple of things that you see, or there's only one thing even. Like this gal that I was telling you about, the client I was saying about the sweaters. I said, send out an email that has pictures of 10 different sweaters in it. Kind of like an online gift guide. Kind of like how it would, or like an email gift guide. Kind of like how it would look if they were looking at your website, right? Show them each individually, and then make sure you tell them, listen, you know, if they can buy it online, have the click there, or tell them to just tell them, listen, we can get any of these to you right away. We'll ship, we'll deliver, we'll curbside pick up, whatever, right? Emails work. So make them a little shorter, vary them all up, see what works best, but keep doing them. Keep doing them. And if you're not getting sales from your email, I mean immediately from when your email goes out, then know that we'll be happy to talk to you about it, because that's what we're seeing mostly happen. So there's some disconnect that somewhere, and we're happy to help you with it. And also the one mistake that I've seen many people make is not sharing enough of your own personal stories with them, and that of your team, having your team talk about it. Like I've done it before, where, for example, the team would talk about what their favorite Mother's Day presents were. You know, like, that's a great thing to do. That makes it just a little bit more personal. I was talking to another client the other day who mentioned that I'd never thought about it this way, but he said, oh, so you mean like kind of be more QVC about it? I was like, yes, exactly. You guys, you should all go watch QVC. When was the last time you watched it? But that's exactly true. They make it actually crazy personable. That's a wonderful example. And honestly, that's what we're seeing work best for emails. Like, one of the best emails that I've seen was a client who was having such a tough time dealing with everything. She couldn't send an email out for a couple of weeks, so she didn't send anything out. And you know what? I didn't push her to do it, because I understood it had to come from her heart. Then she finally sent it out, and it was called Feeling Prickly. And just talking about how she just felt like that. But then she just, from her heart, shared, so this is what I'm doing to try and feel better in the morning when I wake up, because I find that I really have to take care of myself in the morning to make sure that I'm ready to face that day. And so she mentioned about 7 different things And I think maybe 4 of them were from the store. The other 3 were just things that, like a couple things she got from other places or a couple of activities she was doing. Oh my gosh. She had such a phenomenal response to those things. Like, it was really great. So know that people care. And so give them something to care about. Share something about yourself, right? Share something about yourself. Social media, oh my goodness. Well, that continues to be more important than ever before. And the thing I'll add to that is that video is crucial. Why? Because people really get to know you in video. They really do. The stats for video are amazing. People are watching them so much more than posts now. It's been proven. And the other thing that's fabulous about it that you all should know is that people are super forgiving about mistakes. Super forgiving about mistakes. So just embrace it. Mistakes are welcome. A client who shall be remain nameless talked actually on TV yesterday about how she has learned all this new stuff, and she did a Facebook Live sideways. You know, it's so funny, but it's become a funny thing, right? Also, just a little side thing: when it's appropriate, don't hesitate to throw it on YouTube, because that's the 2nd largest search engine. So, I mean, you're not going to, I mean, you might as well get some additional traction for it, right? Dan Jablon's from Retail Smart Guys taught me that, and that was a genius idea. So with Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives, continue to schedule them, promote them ahead of time, and don't forget to continue to do your Facebook and Instagram sales, where you're doing a live, but you're actively selling from it. Those have been over the top. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit, but those have been so successful for people, for clients. Also in your social media, just include educational content. Include the information about where that shirt comes from, and who gets money back when they buy that, or what I'm saying, or like whatever share all that information. Make sure that you're sharing that, as well as just sharing about what you're doing. Like I said, like how I shared with you that client that's actually putting their guidelines for opening, like they're putting that on social media. So it includes everything, right? It just includes everything. And another thing is that snail mail is back. Really, one thing that we're going to be focusing on is what to do with your new customers, because so many people, because of all the stuff they're doing online and opening your website, have gotten so many new customers too, right? And so snail mail is the perfect thing to send, a handwritten thank you note, not just in the box, but like emailing it to them. And so, using good old-fashioned snail mail. I mean, there's just not much of it. You could do a bounce back coupon if you want. Make it for a short period of time, no more than a month for sure. And there's a lot you can do with it. But it's another great thing to sort of brainstorm, because it'll make you stand out from all your competition. The other thing that has made you stand out apart from all the competition is all these new revenue streams that we've been talking about. You guys, they've been working so great, so great, so great. So look at what worked while you were closed. Curbside pickup or delivery. Did you do appointment selling, where people set up appointments on Facebook? Did you do BOPIS, which is what all the big box stores called buy online, pick up in store? And boxes? Oh my goodness, boxes were so successful. Either mystery surprise ones or themed ones, share a hug or send a smile, like some of those kind of things. Either way, those work so great. And an important question to ask yourself is, how can you sustain this? Out of all this, how do you sustain this? This is why I think it's such an important part of getting restarted with all this, and as you reopen, is to make sure that you're limiting your hours, because we want to make sure that you have time to do all this, right? Think about Zoom. How can you utilize Zoom to bring people together for fun and to serve them? So like obviously online classes or quick little tutorials or book clubs even. I have a client that's going to start a book club with her people. Pop-up shops are so perfect for right now, and to be done online, because you can bring in the manufacturer or the artist or whatever, and just do a interview with them, and then you can sell their products. You can do a couple together, and do some giveaways, and all of this continue to promote all this anywhere. I think this is one of the amazing silver linings of this whole thing too, is that you've created this foundation of brand new ways of making sales. You know, our clients have averaged 50%, that their sales were 50% of what they were last April. We've had clients beat what they did last April, actually, even. I mean, it's just incredible. And it's because of all this extra stuff, all this additional income streams that they found and that they're continuing to explore. You guys, it's so exciting. It really is. Alrighty, vendors. This is what's critical about vendors. Do a vendor analysis. You've got to know who your most profitable vendors are. You've got to know that. We have a vendor analysis scorecard that we use. We're happy to help you if you need more help. And make sure that you're talking to them about how this is a partnership. This is the partnership. Things are changing so much for them too. They're talking about well over 15,000 stores closing before the end of the year. And look at all the big boxes that have already announced for filed for bankruptcy and have been and have canceled orders. So listen, this is the partnership, and you work with a team of retail experts. You tell them, and you're in this for the long haul, and you want them to work with you. You know, ask for discounts, ask for terms. That's going to be so critical during your busy season. So if you're on COD, make sure that you're asking for terms, that they're not putting them on credit cards, right? Ask for free shipping, and ask for promo items to give away. Because all these other fun things that you can do, like the trunk shows online, the pop-up shops online, and then your grand reopening party, you know, ask them for promo items that they can they have a need to share with you. And then finally, and certainly super importantly, do they still have your order? Do they really have merchandise to ship? It's really important that you're verifying what inventory you're still going to be getting in. Oh, one other thing to say about vendors is also, this might be an opportunity for you to get in vendors that you hadn't been able to get before. Many vendors are doing drop ship campaigns or programs, or are also decreasing their minimums to get started with them. And as well as maybe the store, your competitor had them, and they're not interested. They're looking for a new store to do business with because they're not going to work with your competitor anymore. So this is a great time to find new vendors too. All right, team. So I want you to really think about the role that your team plays, because I bet it's been different for the first phase. And so it's going to be a little different for this phase. And then it's going to be a little different for this phase. And so are they on board with all the new cleaning expectations? Like, do they understand how all that works? Are they ready and willing to come back? You know, do they not want to come back because they don't want to give up their unemployment, right? I mean, that's been a real thing too. And these are all things that you just have to deal with, you know. I love how Juanita says that a good salesperson is worth their weight in gold. We do not need any potted plants or store babysitters. We do not need any of those, right? So this is your time to sort of really evaluate and see who's really a team player and who really wants to go ahead. And it's time for you to be the CEO of your business and make some tough decisions. And when are you going to have your regularly scheduled meetings? Oh my gosh, this has literally changed the culture of stores and increased sales, having regularly scheduled meetings. And believe you me, there's going to be a lot to talk about. Also, do you have a forum for them to talk about? Meaning, like, do you have a private Facebook group for all your team? I don't care if there's just 3 of you. I don't care if there's just 2 of you. Put it all in the private Facebook group, because then you can also search for answers along the way, you know, whatever. And you're going to grow. You're going to have more than 2. So get started now. Start thinking like a big store right now. Or do you want to use Slack? Slack is another great way too. If you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to ask, but make sure that you're having regularly scheduled meetings. All righty, there's 2 more things that are absolutely crucial to talk about. And this is the first, which is cash flow, inventory, and open to buy. What we've been saying to our clients all week, the whole time, is what our goal is for you is to have more cash and more options. That's what our goal is for you at the end of this year. You know, we've been through 9/11. We've been through the other recession. And I'm so proud to say that each time, every single client ended the season with not necessarily more sales, but with more cash. So we're going to do it again. We've done it before, and we're going to do it again. So these are just a couple things. Do you owe your vendors? Negotiate with them. You have lost weeks and weeks of selling, and you need their help with markdowns. And talk to them about how this is a partnership, right? Talk to them about that. You can't over communicate that. You need to have a sales forecast that's reasonable and can be changed so quickly. And you guys know that we work with Management One, which is literally the largest independent retail database in the world and on the planet. And so and plus, we work with people all the time. So we see trends fast and can react and change to them. So you've got to know how much you're going to sell, but we also have to plan what your ending inventory is. And this is something nobody talks about, because planning that is what gives you more cash, less markdowns, and more full price sales. Your merchandise plan and sales to plan, it literally tells you exactly what steps to take every single week. That's what we have found. That's what we know for sure. 30 years I've been doing this, and it's incredible to me how this is always true. You see, we are in the midst of literally a retail revolution, and you are a revolutionary on the front lines of this revolution because of profitable retailing. Like, we're expecting everybody to be profitable, and you've got to have a plan that produces cash and create options. And the first step to doing that is to know the picture of your business right this moment. And that little snapshot comes from what your profit point is. Many people will talk about a break-even point. We think that's BS. I don't care what you break even at. I want to know what your profit point is. I want to know that. This is the reason why when we've always helped stores open, obviously. And it's the reason why 99% of the stores we've helped open have had positive cash flow the first year, because we planned for it all. We are planners. We love numbers. We know that you didn't start your store because you love Excel. We love Excel. We love numbers. All we want you to do is to love the math that makes you money, and we'll show you how to do that. So, so make sure that you can work with us to map out a plan to bring in the new inventory, how much to bring in, how much, and then when and how to liquidate, the exact steps to liquidate the old inventory and to plan out the future. We literally are the experts at what else is possible. We don't stop saying that ever. We say that all the time. We say that all the time. All right, so that is critical. So if you need help with any of that, you reach out, because, and this is the last thing. The last thing is you. And this is everything we're talking about is all part of your new normal, right? And listen, you were pretty busy before all this started, weren't you? It's not like you had a lot of extra time. So what you have to promise me is that you're going to look at what's been working for you during this crazy time, right? You've got to see what it is that has been really serving you and how you can sustain what it is you can sustain. You know what I just added to my end of day routine is writing down what it is that I didn't have to do today. What could I have delegated? What could I have changed, or what, right? Because we've all taken on extras. When we chose what we did, we all took on this mantle of leadership, and it does take more time and it does take more energy, but the rewards are so great. The impact you get to have on other people's lives is so great. And you see, we did our manifesto now, I think it must have been 6 years ago. It's right here. And what it says is that independent retailers are the backbone of the American economy. You can look on our website and it'll tell you that. We believe that you are the backbone of the American society, because you're the people who donate to all of the schools. You're the people who volunteer for things. You're the people who spend your money in the community where the money is spent. You're literally the heart and blood of that downtown. Did you know that communities that have vital shopping centers in their downtown, their property values are actually higher? True story. You bring so much to the world. We're in really tough straits right now. But you also start to offer more jobs than anything else. You guys, this is so powerful. And so you can't afford to get burnt out. So make sure you continue to protect yourself too. We're here. That's why our tagline is for more profit and better sleep, because you got to look at both all the time, right? So like I said, we're all in this together. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. And so, like we always say, stay safe, Love hard, love yourself hard, love your family hard, and love your people hard, and then shine bright on that platform that you've gotten. All right. Thank you very much, you guys.